Hello everyone and welcome back to today's seminar together with ABG and the upcoming presentation of Eways. Eways. My name is Ophelia Aspemyr and I'm an equity research analyst here at ABG, primarily covering clean tech and renewable stocks. I today have the pleasure to introduce Eways CEO Niklas Salgren that will start off with the presentation. But I won't steal any more of your time, so please go ahead, Niklas.
Thank you, Ophelia. Thank you. And thank you, ABG, for having me here. Just to start by saying that we've made this agreement with ABG to help us with the pre-IPO and also the IPO, and that the IPO will take place within 12 months from now. So, and if you could please go to, I'll just say this, if I move into the presentation, actually the picture that you see now is from Täby Centrum in Stockholm, where we have our charging stations, but you can please move to the next picture or next slide. Well, my name is Niklas Salgren, and I founded Eways back in 2015 together with my wife, Petra. And my background is that I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I've been, even from university, I started my first company at KTH in Kista back in '96, and I've been having different startups in different categories all over through the years. I took a break and worked also a couple of years heading the IT department at Skanska IT Solutions in Sweden. So I have some background within more larger corporations also. Petra has a background within systems development, and she's worked with companies like Akando and HiQ for many years, heading different IT projects. So in the family, we're a perfect match, sort of, where I take care of a customer, do a lot of thinking about the business development, and Petra is the person that can make this happen and build our cloud solutions. So that's a perfect match. And Eways is, as we kid around saying, maybe our fourth child, and sometimes the child that takes most of our time. But so we have three other children. Back in 2012, I joined the Yansi team, which was a startup working on IoT solutions, mainly hooking up different types of sensors. So I had a significant amount of the nice software that I looked for different hardware to hook up to. And I stumbled across Tesla, and I met the first Tesla team that came to Sweden. I drove the first Model S, and I fell completely in love with the whole thinking around fossil-free and being able to push out the fossil dependency that we have in society, and also the tremendous vehicle that they have sold in so many, and the success they've had now. So that was the bit about the background. Petra and I decided to work with impact as entrepreneurs. So Eways was founded based on that. And I think you can go to the next slide now. As you've sort of studied, I guess, the industry of the automobile industry, it's changed quite significantly the last 5 years, I would say, maybe or mostly driven by Tesla and their cars. All of the manufacturers today in our part of the world are behind the electricity and the fossil-free concept now. There are no other or no automobile marketers that will push or sell fossil-based vehicles in the future. And our vision and what we do is to make it easy for everyone to drive a vehicle. We build a fast network of chargers, and we want the next generation to be fossil-free or free to drive on electricity, and not be able to sort of be in a situation where you have to need to use fossil anymore, at least not for the cars. And there are many big switches now in the market. There are many new cars coming, and the prices are dropping significantly, and the amount of new models that are coming out is significant over the next coming years. I think also you can go to the next slide now. Keep up the pace a bit. So what do Eways do then? Well, if you look at this slide from the bottom and up, we help society to become fossil-free by making it easy to charge a vehicle And our main market is what you call ordinary charging, which is in the sustainable city, basically. It's ordinary driving. You do a lot of things with your car. Usually you start from home and you go to maybe your office and you do different errands. So it's like a triangle of things and activities that you do with your car. This is the bulk of all the driving that people do. And our business model is that we focus on the places that you either start or you visit with your car. So it's either the home, which is usually a villa, or a toa, actually meaning the bostadsrätt in Swedish. The office, public places. Those are the 4 main places where we focus our business model. We want it to be really easy to drive an EV. So in order to do that, you need to have a charger basically at home, and you need to have extra charging on the go sort of in activity. Our 5th segment is transportation, where we focus on the last mileage. We help companies like DHL and Bring to charge their vehicles so that they can deliver to our homes and all over the city in a fossil-free way. So there is an abundance of a lot of different packaging that we do for these 5 different segments, but they all have the 3 sort of objects that you see higher up on the page. There's always a hardware element here. You need a charging station. We work with 5 different vendors of hardware stations, and they're all hooked up to our cloud solution. So we buy and sell hardware, and they're all hooked up into our smart charging network, sort of. So we're hardware agnostic in that way. There's a low risk in our business model also that if someone can't deliver a hardware, we can always change to another. Our main focus is our cloud platform, and it's a hub for all different types of connections that we do with different hardware. And we also have a payment solution in the platform. And we also have a payment API so that we can connect even traditional payment solutions that we have already online. These charging stations that we are smart, and we hook them up to our network using internet. And then they stay there at least for 10 to 15 years, and preferably we will also change them in the future. And so it's a very long customer journey that we have. And so service is our 3rd element here, where we have a customer support 24/7, 365 actually. So you can, as an owner or as a user, you can call us 24/7, and we will help everyone. And we also do a lot of operation and maintenance in this field. So, and today we have about 8,000 connected charging stations, and we released a press release today with EasyPark that we have 1,000 connected EasyPark charging stations, meaning that you can start your charging with the EasyPark app. We do about 500,000 charging sessions rolling 12 months. So it's a quite significant network that we have now, and we're the leader in Sweden. So please go to the next slide. So our journey started back in 2015, and I'll just run through some significant things that we did. We signed an agreement with Atrium Ljungberg, being one of the leading real estate owners in Sweden back in 2018. And within a year, we launched 1,000 charging points in their network of real estate. And it's a mixture of office and shopping centers, basically. And so Atrium Ljungberg was a significant deal for us, where we sort of would train and deliver a lot of charging stations. That year, we also got Skanska as a customer. So we have their headquarters here in Stockholm, where we have 50 charge points was the initial order. And then we were the first operator to integrate with Swish. As I said, we want to make it really easy to charge your car. So when you come to a charging stations and you have no means of starting it or paying for it, we thought that Swish would be a great idea, and it's been a huge success. And basically, you scan only with the Swish app, and you can start everything with your Swish app. And that partnership continues also with Swish. In around last year, we signed an agreement with Apcoa, Apcoa being the largest parking operator in Europe, and we are now integrating with their Apcoa Flow app. So it will be an Eways network of chargers in the Apcoa parking spaces in Sweden to start with, and then the consumer will be able to start charging with the Apcoa app then. And within transportation, we also signed a partnership with Insile, a very exciting company that work a lot with the last mileage. And when you order the Insile, you will come to a page on the internet where you can buy an Eways charging station, and we deliver it and installed and ready. So we have always been very focused on growth, of course, but we've also been focused on profitability to be able to make money and have a profit margin has always been important for us. And as you can see, the EBIT has been between 5% and 1%. And we have had a significant growth over the years, and we can see that this growth will ramp up even now. The fuel of the new cars is a fuel sort of in our business. New exciting vehicles that will come up in the market is really driving our business. So we can foresee a significant growth the coming 10 years, I would say. So we can go to the next slide. And this growth, I would say, is of course fueled by the cars coming out. And today we have about 2 million EVs, and it will grow significantly. And this will, of course, drive the market for chargers. And there's sometimes a misperception, I think, in the market. There is a lot of media covering high-speed charging, where you stop and you wait for 30 minutes and then you drive on. I think that this is a misperception, sort of, where most of the driving, you don't drive that way. You use it in your daily sort of commute, and to this market with home and work charging is significantly larger. And it's also a lot lower risks. You know that when you set up a charger at home at someone in a TOA, or you put it in an office or in a shopping center, you know that they will be used in a very high degree of charging, and you also have a more of a foreseeable business in that sense if you compare to the high speed. I also think that the efficiency of the cars will, of course, be a lot better, and it's possible that we will drive by all of these fast chargers when the cars will be more efficient and the batteries will be larger. So I think you can go to the next slide. So please go. Yes, thank you. So, and with extreme growth coming, we have thought a lot about this, and we have our cloud solution that you see, we call it our ecosystem, and it's an ecosystem that support the modern charging for the consumers, and we want to be able to have an open platform where we can take care of the consumer in all of these 5 segments. And many parts of the business that we have is based on APIs. So if you look at this picture from below, you can see that we have hardware connected to the cloud from below, and we're using only standards here. So this is a very standardized way of working, internet standards. So we can hook up basically any hardware that are using the protocols. And then we have all of the transactions and all of the charging sessions combined in our cloud, basically. And on the top level, you can see the different APIs that we can publish. From one side is, for instance, a partner API, where we can have different partners that want to build specific apps. I will talk a bit about more of that later. And then we have payment APIs, Swish, Mobil, EasyPark, Apcoa, and of course, prepared for roaming. Many of our customers also have fleet companies that They can also get information from us from all of the charging sessions in an API directly to companies like Volvo Finance, CarPay, and so on. So I think you can go to the next slide. This, of course, will cater and be able to have this extreme growth. So please jump to the next slide. We have been very fortunate to have a lot of very demanding and high-quality companies as a blue-chip customer base. And we have divided them into different segments. So you have the office, public, and transport. And then within office, you have corporate, real estate, and utility. And I can pinpoint really quickly here our position in the market as an independent charging operator makes it easy for us, or easier at least, to work with local energy companies. We're not seen as a competitor to them, like Vattenfall would be, for instance. So they come to us and we partner with them. So Göteborg Energi, for instance, or Höganäs Energi, or Gislaved Energi, they become local partners that can sell Eways locally, and that business model works very well. We're also fortunate to be able to work with basically all of the real estate companies that you know on the Stockholm Stock Exchange. I'm sure that you're quite familiar with all of them. Just recently, we signed a frame agreement with Backa Hill. So we will put up now charging stations for the summer at Torekov Hotel, Båstad Hotel, and Båstad Entré. So if you go to Båstad this summer, we can help you with charging. Quick also on public is that we've been fortunate to win also tenders for a lot of the different parking companies. So it's Parking Malmö, Stockholm Parkering, and the list is quite long actually. And we also now are putting up 154 charging points at Väla Centrum in Helsingborg. So I think you can move to the next slide. Ericsson is a good example of what we do. We have 64 outlets in Kista, and we have installed them together with Core Service Management that we work with. And we deliver also customized app together with Core, built on our API so that the Ericsson employee can find and see in which garage there are available charging stations rather than driving around. And then Ericsson employees start their charging with our charge cards. So all of the employees at Ericsson that want to charge, they become an Eways customer. And we also have a set of possibilities where we build unique web shops for the different employee groups. So for Ericsson, they can go in at eways.se and buy a charging station for their home, basically. And you can move to the next slide. The business that we have has basically a hardware and installation part in it, always. In rare cases, we take over other operators. It's happened, and I think we will see more of that in the future, where we take over others. But the significant part of our revenue is hardware and installation. And once it's installed, we have a nice set of recurring revenues. And we take a revenue or a service for hooking up to the cloud and also our customer service. And then to be able to hook up to our API, there's also a firm monthly fee per outlet. And then when you start charging using our payment API, for instance, you use EasyPark or Apcoa Flow or our charge cards, there is a transaction fee and it's around 15%. So basically we build this network and the customers pay for the network. We install it. There is a gross margin there. And then we have a recurring revenue that comes and we have basically no churn at all. So the customers enjoy our service and they stay with us. So there's a very long tail of recurring revenue that we have here, which is a bit of a dream come true for an entrepreneur. It's always nice to have a stability in the business, and it's foreseeable, and it's also part of taking care of the customer and helping them to charge. So it all comes together nicely. So you can go to the next slide. So we would see ourselves as a market leader in Sweden now, and the reason that we're in this IPO process is that I feel that the market will grow rapidly now, much more faster than it's done the previous 6 years. So the next coming 6 years would be extremely high growth. And we want to take the knowledge that we have now and go first into the Nordic countries, Finland, Oslo, or Finland, Norway, and Denmark, and then move on also to UK, France, and Germany, where there is a huge demand for charging. And I think within our field, we hear and we see that we are at this point a first mover, sort of. So I think you can go also to the next slide. So to conclude, I see that in Sweden we've been very significant, and it's been a good role to be so quick in the market and first. And I see that in the market that we have currently, we are a first mover. I also see that our customers enjoy the full service offering that we have. Many of our competitors, they only sell hardware. We work with a full service proposition, sort of helping them with charging, helping them with creating revenue also, which is important. We have a really strong customer base. I think the full service offering has given us this customer base. And it's also so that in our market, as in many markets, the references that we have are sort of significant and very important for the next customer also. And our business scales very well with a high degree of recurring revenue. It's a stability in the business that we like. And I think also that going to the market, we've trained now a lot. We are almost 40 employees currently. And we work closely to the market and closely to the customers. And we've tried also the concept store in Täby Centrum. It works really well. We know that the market is thirsting for information and know-how about charging, so we help them with this. And we have a strong track record these years that we've had. The first 4 years was really, I would say, demanded a lot of endurance and willpower. And now we've enjoyed a market now for at least 2 years now with more cars, which is the fuel. And we can see that there's so many different cars coming out now, and it will drive our business nicely. So I think you can go to the last page now. So what it's all about is to say goodbye to the petrol station. And I can say that they have basically no role in the new sustainable city. And that our way of working with charging is really what the customer wants. And I look forward to the future. So hej då macken from us. So that concludes my presentation, I would say.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Thank you very much for a good presentation and introduction to Eways, Niklas.
Thank you.
I would like to start to discuss your customers, and I would like to hear about your typical, but also your most preferred customer, and where do you see the most potential?
Well, I think I see basically potential in all our segments, but there's a huge potential in the home market, where there's the number, especially within TOAS, as meaning bostadsrätt and samfällighet here in Sweden, but it's the same system set up in the rest of Europe, where you would pretty much need to have a one-to-one sort of relationship. If you have one car, you need to have a charging station. So there is no such thing as borrowing from each other and so on. We want to use a low efficiency level of charging, which is the most sustainable way of doing it. So you want to charge when you're not using your car. That's the most smart thing to do, and it's a good sustainable way of doing it. And so I think that market is really interesting, and that's also where our concept stores come in, where we meet these customers. Anyone who's been involved in a TOA bostadsrätt know that purchasing things is quite of a significant project, and we help them with this, and we've been really successful with this segment also. But I also think that transportation is really important from a CO2 perspective, where today we deliver these transport companies. They deliver a lot of goods to the homes everywhere, and they use fossil to do it. And I think from a sustainability perspective, transportation is really interesting also.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry to say, but we have to round off here. Thank you very much, Niklas. Very good of you.
Thank you, everyone. Hope to see you.